Mike Torquay has got to be at his best now because the Oshawa Generals are starting to come to the net. But they've got to do more shooting. Eric Lindros tries to cut it a little too fine here with a fancy pass when he really was in a good position where a guy who's got a big hard shot like he does, start driving that puck at Mike Torquay, and all the Generals have to start doing that. They're down 2-1, 6:19 left in the period. Quit being fancy and start driving the net.
Reeves, Scaldi, and Lewick out there for the Generals. Firth, Fulham, and Rice out there for Kitchener. And here comes Rice. In against Green. Shooting. Brathwaite to stop. Rice. Another shot. Tried to get it through the slot. Uniacke shoots. And Brathwaite gets it stuck in the glove and decides to hang on. And has a little bit of a staring contest with a couple of Rangers right on his lap.
Puck was lodged in his glove and he couldn't get it out. He seems to have settled down, and he's coming up with the good saves here. Stephen Rice cranks a hard shot, and Brathwaite just kicks the pad out, makes an excellent save. Good stand-up, back on his feet, good recovery. Now, if Brathwaite was to be hurt, this 10th round draft pick by Oshawa, if he was to be hurt, Oshawa would have to dress an affiliated goalie. The affiliated goalies are Jeff Finch and Derek Slater of the Oshawa Legionnaires. And the big million-dollar question at this point is, are they in the building? But regardless of that, Oshawa would have to be permitted some time to get their affiliated here and dressed.
Oh, did Paul O'Hagan not make a great stop earlier, the defenseman? And I said, maybe dress him. O'Hagan clears it up around the boards.
I don't think you realized how prophetic that may have been.
No, I didn't think we'd be meeting the situation. Basillo tried to get it across in front for Hoffman. He was being checked. Basillo with Tregwell in front. Here's Hoffman now with Tregwell in front, but Tregwell was a lot deeper in the slot than that pass, which just went through the crease, would permit him to get to. Tregwell to Hoffman. 5:20 to play, second period, 2-1 Kitchener. 2 power play goals from Jason York and Joey Saint-Aubin. Corey Bannick is scoring the lone Oshawa goal.
Well, the medical report that Rick Kornacki is going to get from the doctors is going to be at least a badly bruised ankle for Kevin Butt. I'm sure they're going to take x-rays and see if there may be a possible fracture. But he must have taken the puck on the inside of the ankle and obviously isn't going to be back in this hockey game unless he makes a very quick recovery. Probably afraid to take the skate off to have a look at it, because as soon as you do, you know an ankle injury will swell up.
If you've ever sprained your ankle doing anything, you know that as soon as you take the shoe off, forget it. Here comes Stevenson. Up with Pierce. Works it in. Montanari gets it across in front, knocked down.
Nice job by Brathwaite to deflect that puck. Heads up play. His concentration appears to be very good right now.
Uniacke colliding with Lindros back behind the play. That was a thump and a half. Donaldson in the corner for the Generals. Comes up with it. Pierce up the forecheck. Frazier trying to come out. He's in heavy traffic and still negotiates his way outside the blue line. Grieve clips it in. Torquay. Good pass. Back up to Pierce. Gets it ahead. Firth and on goal. Big stop by Brathwaite. Firth had it labeled.
May well have reached out. That one is questionable. Might have been going a little bit wide, but the impressive thing from an Oshawa General point of view is that Fred Brathwaite is now into this hockey game. His concentration is good. A great pass by Randy Pierce to Jason Firth, a gifted offensive hockey player. He gets this backhand up, and it might well have been on net. A dangerous opportunity. Fred Brathwaite, watch him on the high angle as he backs into his net. Snakes love a very good reflex goalie. That's the book on Freddie Brathwaite.
Here's Rice. Dion thought he saw a little bit of daylight, couldn't nail it on goal. 4 minutes to play, second period. Here comes Scaldi. Scaldi can't get the shot, and Torquay will hang on. Jared Scaldi has had a couple of chances, but hasn't quite been able to break it loose.
A good play by Trevor McIver, number 10, to get the puck to Scaldi. Scaldi comes up, an outstanding stick handler, gifted offensive player, but Jason York plays him well enough that he gets enough interference and spins him around that Scaldi can't get his shot away. Torquay comes out and smothers the loose puck.
Jared Scaldi, a first-round pick for the Generals in 1987, and he has lived up to all those expectations associated with being a first-round pick. Dion to Rice. Gets by York. McIver will come in with Lewick. Lewick shooting. Torquay had the angle on it. Scaldi and Firth battle along the boards and get the face-off with 3 minutes and 25 seconds to go. Well, that is a nickname of Gilbert Dion, number 15, the guy we just looked at, and he gets the nickname because when he scores, he does that sword thing that Chichi Rodriguez does with the putter on the golf circuit.
Well, if you've seen Chichi on the seniors, he's very flamboyant when he sinks that putt, grabs the putter, and puts it in the holster as if it's a gun or a sword into a scabbard, and Marcel Dion's kid brother does the same thing.
Bannico with the shot, and it rattled off the inside of Chris Lapuma's skates, and Torquay had to readjust. I wonder if older brother Marcel Dion would approve of Gilbert being quite so flashy when he scores.
Oh, I don't think he'd mind too much. A gifted offensive player, the leading scorer this year on the Kitchener Rangers.
It's nail-biting time, all right. Grieve with the shot. Bannica gets to it. Basillo with Bannica in front. Basillo still jousting with St. Aubin. Craigwell crashing in there. Here's Kravitz. Fulham steps in, swings wide. He's got Borgo in front. Fulham still. And Craigwell comes back now. Craigwell and Fulham grind it along the boards. Lapuma comes away with it to Keenan. Keenan in deep. Borgo trying to get towards the front of the net, but he's being tied up by Basillo. Here comes Ian Fraser. Lindros going for the net. Fraser tried to pound it on goal. I think Pierce got a piece of it. Here's Basillo now. To Fraser. And Torquay has that skate up tight against the post, leaving Fraser no daylight. 2 minutes and 8 seconds to go in the second period. And here's Peter Watts to tell us about the intermission.
All right, Paul, it's been a pretty good year for the Canadian Hockey League, and the president of the CHL, Ed Chanouth, will join us in our second intermission. We'll get you caught up on the day's top sports stories and a TSN update from Toronto, and we'll have the play of the period, all in our second intermission.
Still 2 minutes and 8 seconds away. Kitchener leading 2-1 against the Oshawa Generals. Here's Armstrong. Fraser after it. Grieve is in front. Now Grieve trying to get it out in front to Lindros. Grieve still with Fraser. They're buzzing all around the net. Grieve another shot. Here's Fraser again. Grieve good. Brent Grieve has tied it up.
The tenacity pays off. Great work by Ben Grieve behind the net. Now Eric Lindros is a major distraction, number 88. You'll see all the Kitchener Rangers around him very concerned. Brent Grieve, though, does just a magnificent job of holding on to it, getting it out to Ian Fraser, and picking up a rebound and banging it in. Brent Grieve puts it over to Ian Fraser, and Fraser's behind the net. Tries to jam it in, and the rebound comes out to Grieve, and that was nothing but hard work. That's when the Oshawa Generals are at their best, when they're around the net. Eric Lindros standing there, making his presence felt. Although he never touched the puck, he drew a lot of attention away from Grieve and Fraser.
Ian Fraser gets the assist at 18:15, and it's a 2-2 hockey game. And another close one between these two clubs that have battled so often and so closely in the last few weeks. Rice bangs it outside the blue line. Lead pass. Rice was way up offside.
Rice tried to sneak in behind the Oshawa defense, but got a step ahead. Crossed the blue line before the puck.
And Stephen Rice, who admitted after that overtime loss the other night, I was shocked when I talked to him. He said, you know, I think they have a better team. We just have to work that much harder. And you don't hear players say something like that when they still have a big game against the opposition to come.
I don't doubt the truthfulness of that statement, but by the same token, it's all part of the psychological game. We are the underdog, they are the favorite, knowing full well that he had another opportunity at them so long as they beat Laval in the semifinal.
Which they did, and that leaves us here with 1 minute and 5 seconds to go in the second period of a great hockey game. 2-2. Rice in over the blue line, puck bouncing behind him. Scott Lewick back to the Generals. Scaldi comes in with Lewick. Torquia comes out to just bat it away. 45 seconds left in the period. 2-2 hockey game. Stephen Rice up at center, and Firth was low bridge. Here comes Scaldi back in with Lewick. Lewick now shooting. Torquia with the stop. Scaldi may have tipped it. Here comes Rice back the other way. Armstrong stops him, and Donaldson is there to gobble up the loose puck. 20 seconds left.
This period comes to a close, Paul. They're really picking up the pace. Lots of big hits, lots of good offensive opportunities.
16 seconds to go now in the second period. 2-2 between Oshawa and Kitchener.
Jason Firth got leveled by Gerald Donaldson right at center ice. A terrific open ice body check. Firth was looking behind him for the puck. Donaldson had him lined up and came right across. And Firth shakes off the effects of that one.
I think it was Stephen Rice with what the players call the suicide pass. A guy lining up your teammate. Here, you take it.
Nothing worse than coming through the middle, looking back, and hearing that rush of wind racing at you as somebody prepares to launch you into orbit.
Here's Lindros. Triple team. I guess he didn't get a shot away. Brathwaite stepping out to play it, and we're going to have a high sticking penalty with 6 seconds left in the second period, and it is going to go against the Oshawa Generals. Number 21, Bill Armstrong, will head off. And when you consider that Kitchener has been absolutely, positively lethal on the power play, boy, could this be a big call.
There's the cross check, and it goes up into the face of Randy Pierce. And Randy Pierce has been such a catalyst tonight. Killing penalties, he's been dangerous. But he's really creating a lot of offensive opportunities, and he drew that penalty on Bill Armstrong. And if Kitchener can't do anything here in the 6 seconds left, they certainly have a good chance with 1 minute and 54 to start the third period.
Kitchener is 2 for 2 on the power play in this game. It's a 2-2 hockey game. Stevenson on the faceoff against Lindros. So the third period will start with the Kitchener Rangers on the power play for the first minute and 55 seconds. And these two teams skate through another tight 20 minutes, exchanging goals again. It's 2-2 through 2.